Good evening. I'm Trace Gallagher. It's 11 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 o'clock here in Los Angeles, and this is America's Late News, Fox News at Night. And breaking tonight, a brand new plan to deport illegal immigrants. The Trump administration will pay them to do it themselves. And surprise, surprise, the Democrats don't like the plan. But the left is apparently fine with giving the Sinaloa drug cartel the benefit of the doubt.
What's your message to Donald Trump if he's watching this?
CNN now getting backlash for interviewing a cartel member asking how it feels to be called a terrorist instead of, I don't know, asking about tens of thousands of Americans killed by their drugs every year. We'll have more on this in moments. Plus, bringing back the Birdman. President Trump with a new plan for an old prison.
It represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order.
Could The Rock reopen? Bring in California gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton and former GOP national spokesperson Elizabeth Pipko. Thank you both for coming on. Elizabeth, to you first. Deputy DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said this about the self-deportation plan.
If you're an illegal alien, you should download the CBP Home app. It's free on any device, and you can go get a flight that'll be paid for by DHS. And as well, we will give you a $1,000 stipend. Again, that's 70% savings for U.S. taxpayers. It's also safer for the migrant. It is safer for our law enforcement.
Seems like the money makes sense, Elizabeth Pipko. Is this a smart move politically in your estimation?
You know, I do think it's a smart move politically simply because this is exactly what the American people asked for. They asked for someone to come in and clean up the mess that Joe Biden created over the last 4 years. The fact is there was chaos in our streets. We know tens of millions of illegal immigrants were allowed to cross into our southern border, take over our country with no actual explanation as to why, who was here, or if they were being vetted at all. The fact is this is the safest way to do this. It's the most humane way to do this. It's the most respectful way to do this. And I can only imagine that if it was Joe Biden or a Democrat administration doing this, it would be applauded. The fact is this is what the American people voted for. They wanted someone to come in, clean up the mess, and do it in the most respectful way possible. This is what Donald Trump and his administration are doing.
Meantime, Steve, the owner of the Washington Commanders on the NFL draft coming to D.C. Watch.
Mr. President, thank you very much. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for your leadership in terms of the stadium, and now what a great day for Washington. And President Trump, we leave on your desk a Trump jersey. You are the ultimate commander.
I mean, this is a boost, Steve, to a town that really needs a boost. They're going to build a $3.5 billion stadium. I mean, it's one of those things where Trump's trying to get this town back in action.
Exactly. You know, he even before the election said we're going to clean it up. We're going to make it a capital to be proud of again. For so many years, all the stories coming out of Washington were terrible. You know, the carjackings and the degradation of the physical space in terms of what it looks like and feels like to live there. And so boosting our nation's capital is a boost to our nation, and it's classic Trump, you know, and you can see the response. This is why it makes such a difference to have a business person in the White House. And just as Elizabeth was saying on the previous story, it's just pragmatic, it's problem solving, it's getting things done, and that's what people voted for.
Speaking about getting things done, Elizabeth Pipko, Trump on Alcatraz reopening. Watch.
Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz, and just represented something strong having to do with law and order. We need law and order in this country.
Nancy Pelosi, who can see Alcatraz from her front window, says this is not a serious plan. Elizabeth, what do you think?
Well, I think if Nancy Pelosi doesn't want it, it must be a good idea. That's number one. But look, it's exactly what Donald Trump said. This is representative of law and order, which is what the American people asked for. Trace, you and I spoke how many times looking forward to the November elections? It was September, October, November. How many issues did we talk about? Very few. Violent crime was one of the main issues that we talked about because it's what the American people were worried about. If they weren't worried about it, Donald Trump would not have been elected to fix it. People want law and order in our country. If this is one way to get it done, to clean up our streets, to make the American people feel safer in their home, then it needs to get done.
Bring back the Birdman, Steve. New York Magazine ran a hit piece on John Fetterman. because he made the mistake, of course, Steve, of being a moderate, actually kind of trying to team up and work with some Republicans. Here's part of the piece. Many of the staffers I spoke with are angry. They are troubled and they are sad. These were some of Fetterman's truest believers, and they now question his fitness to be a senator. They worry he may present a risk to the Democratic Party and maybe even to himself. So they're playing up his health like, oh, his health problems are getting worse. He's getting better, Steve. But, boy, you step out of the Democratic Party, they will go
exactly. I mean, he's getting better in every way, and people are really responding to it. And people often say, this is what we want in politics. We don't want this tribalism, except the tribe, the Democrat tribe. You step out of line, exactly as they're going to crush you. My favorite example of it, here in California, there was a state legislative election where the unions ended up giving money, $1 million, to the Republican candidate just to punish a Democrat who stepped out of line and didn't do what they said. This is what the Democratic Party's become now, total authoritarians.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those things where you got to take a step back like, they're doing what? Steve, Elizabeth, thank you both.